Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In this one I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a completely original idea. Nobody's ever done it before. And that is a ranking slash tier list. Now I'm doing this video because I recently rewatched the first season of Beyblade. And obviously it's old but it is amazing. And so I thought, you know, why don't I do this and post it and see what everyone else thinks. So yeah, this is a tier list that I made on tierlist.com. So if you disagree with my opinions, go over to tierlist.com, search up my account, mbz underscore 001, and do it yourself and send it me, see what, so, you know, we can all debate on um, the ranking. One mistake I did make is that I did include two pictures of Zach, but we can just forget about that. So yeah, this is weakest to strongest. So obviously, I'm sure everyone knows how tier lists work. The ones closest to here are stronger than the ones for the right. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into this one. And starting off this list is this guy. I'm pretty sure is Yuko. Um, I rewatched the anime, but the names still confuse me. But I know this guy has Unicrest. And obviously, like most characters, when he's introduced, he's quite good. Then eventually, he loses relevance. Um, he was okay, even when he was like introduced. He like even Rantaro, like got lucky against him and got a couple points against him in a match. So he's not amazing, and obviously you didn't see him later on in the anime. But assuming that he did keep up with training and all that, I'm going to put him in C tier purely because, you know, you only saw him in the start of the anime when everybody was a lot weaker and you didn't really see him grow from there. He was in the team battles, so obviously he did maintain some skill, but obviously, you know, compared to other characters on the list, he couldn't stand up to some of them. So next up is Xander's other friend. I'm pretty sure this guy is Yugo. I know he has Yugen or Yuga. It's that one defense stamina bay. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it's Yugen or whatever. I'm sure you guys know what bay I'm on about. I'll put it on screen. I'll probably put everybody's bay on screen. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this guy was weaker than this guy was introduced. I know he was like second in command and all that, but I don't think he was. He didn't stack up against the Baghammer Academy guys as well as this guy did. So I'm definitely going to put him below him, but not far. Yeah, like some of these characters obviously like came and went, so obviously ranking Beyblade characters is quite difficult. But I think I'm going to stick those two there. Next up, Wakia. Now he was one that maintained his presence throughout the series. Obviously, Wyvron was his bay. Defense type. I believe his last battle of the series was against Shu in the individual tournament matches, which he did do decently against. If you remember, he cracked Shu's Spryzen, which obviously led to him breaking against Louis. In my head, I'm kind of thinking, right, so Shu was part of the Supreme Four, and Wakia stood up to Shu, but there was no way he was going to win. He snagged, I believe he did snag up a point, but Shu immediately brought it back. In a hypothetical match, I don't think he would beat Xander or Zach. So I'm gonna put him in A for now, because he did stand up to Shu quite well, but I don't think he might move down later on. Oh, the pink haired guy, Akira and Anubius or Anubion, however you want to say it. Another defense bay. He stood up to Zach. I believe he stood up to Zach about the same as Wakia did with Shu. But obviously, one of them is a bit stronger than the other. I'm just spoiling the whole list right now. But yeah, In a hypothetical one-on-one, I do believe Akira is much better than these two. I would say she's maybe on the same level as Wakia, maybe a bit below. So I'm going to put him behind Wakia for now. But again, might move down later. Zack, one of my favourite Season 1 characters. Zack was really good. He was taken out by Volt. And I definitely think he's better than Wakia. Um, his Zutron, obviously, stamina type Bay in the anime. He was really good. Like, throughout the whole season, he barely lost. He lost to Odax, or Odin, in the earlier episode, but obviously that was because he wasn't concentrating. But at his full power, I do believe he could beat Wakia, and obviously he did beat Akira. So, next up is Xander, and Xander obviously has Excalibur, or Excalius, and Attack type Beyblade. He also was taken out by Volt in the finals, but that was a round before Zack. Some people argue that Zack is better than Xander, and vice versa. Personally, Xander is definitely, in my opinion, more powerful than Wakia. Purely because obviously he is a member of the Supreme Four, so that obviously puts him in the top tiers automatically. But also that Wakia couldn't beat Shu, and if you remember at the end of the anime, Xander was taken out by Volt, and Wakia, in my opinion, wouldn't stand up to Xander. So that's kind of my logic behind that one. So next up is Gabe, and he has a giant Gaia. I think the bay is called. I know it's a balance type. Yeah, so his, I think it was swing counter or something, the move in the anime. It was quite a powerful counter move. It was yeah, I think it was Daigo. One of his last battles was against Daigo, and he barely won. So this guy's awkward because I remember, if you remember in the anime, Shu said his move was one of the best, most powerful moves at that point. So I'm going to put him in B tier. I don't see him standing up against any members of Supreme 4, despite what Shu said about his move maybe even beating Zack's Zutron. I don't believe it would, and that was, before all of the final matches. So I'm going to put him in B tier. Louis, obviously, this one doesn't really have a lot of competition. Louis is definitely in S tier. Definitely top 3 at the end of the season. He just steamrolls everybody up until the last, 2 episodes. So yeah, there's no arguing against Louis or Luminor. Next up is I know he has Neptune. Oh, what's his name? I have it written down. Nikia. I don't know, the scientist guy. Obviously his Bay Nova Neptune was a balance type. He has the trans driver, so obviously he was able to switch between stamina and attack modes. In his match against Volt, his full power clearly was on a whole nother level against Neptune. But obviously he did qualify for the individual matches. So this guy's awkward because he qualified for the individual matches, but didn't really do anything outside of that. I definitely don't think he's on the same level as the A tier bladers. I struggle putting him on B, but I feel like I kind of have to. I feel like he's either mid B or high C. I'm going to put him at B purely because he did give Volt some struggle in their match. And of course, that was a little bit after Gabe's matches. So I believe that he is a B tier blader, but that one is up for debate. Jin's next up with his stamina type Beyblade, I believe it was, Jumbo Dual Mentor. And he obviously went up against Shu, and he did decently well. Obviously, if you remember in his battle with Shu, he only got 1 point, and that was due to this guy, the Neptune guy, flashing a light in Shu's eye. So this guy was definitely far less powerful than Shu, but Shu did state that he was quite a powerful opponent. So, plus he did qualify for the individual matches, so he's clearly a decent blader. I'm trying to think. Purely going off the basis that he qualified for the individual matches and these two didn't, I'm going to put him in high C tier. But I'm debating on whether Nico, what, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm just going to say Neptune Guy. I'm debating on if Neptune Guy could beat Jin. No, I'm going to swap Jin and Neptune Guy. Because I do think Jin was somewhat powerful. But obviously, going up against Shu, it doesn't matter how powerful you are, he's going to get you. So, I'm going to leave this guy there for now. I might move them all around at the end. Next up was Ben, and I believe it was Betramoth. Now, I think his last battle was against Ken in their, Battle of the Beasts episode. He was quite powerful. He gave Volt and a couple of other bladers a run for their money. I think he's definitely B tier. I don't see him coming close to bladers like Wakia or Xander. I think he was more powerful than Gabe. In my personal opinion, I do believe he would get the better of Gabe. Yeah, there's not much I can really say. I don't really know the character too well, and obviously I'm only going off the anime and all that. So, yeah, I'm actually gonna move Jin down a tier. Excuse me, because now I'm thinking about it, I don't see him standing up to Gabe or Ben. So I'm moving him down a tier, and obviously you're never going to be completely happy, even with your own tier list, but I'm sort of happy with how it is now. Volt's next up, and obviously he's an S tier. And obviously, yeah, I might as well move Shu up there as well, because we all know that those three were the most powerful at the end of the season. It just depends on where you want to put them, because obviously Louis did win the matches with both, but obviously Shu's Beyblade broke in their battle, which gave Louis the win, and Volt also sort of cucked himself on his own scratch mark in the stadium, so Louis also won. But I do believe that Volt and Shu both surpassed Louis, respectively. So I'm just going to leave those there for now, and I'll come back to those three later. Next up, this guy. Yeah, I know his base is Quetzalcoatl, but I don't know his name. But I know that he was relatively good. He was sort of underestimating Volt in their matches, but Volt did get the better of him. So he's definitely a B tier blader at the very least. Better than Gabe. I'm going to say yes, purely because against his match with Volt, he did really well. And if Volt carried on the way he was going in the first matches, he would have lost. So I'm definitely going to put him above Gabe. Against Ben, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to leave him there for now. Next up is Daigo. Now, Daigo obviously went up against Gabe in the later half of the season. He lost barely due to stamina. But I do believe Gabe was probably the stronger blader anyway. So I'm leaving Daigo in B tier. Obviously Doomsizer in real life was a really good dual layer bay. And in the anime, he was keeping up with Volt for the first half of the season. But obviously, due to Volt being the main character, his power just shot up, where Daigo's was sort of just still slowly climbing. But I do believe Gabe still got the better of Daigo. And obviously, you've got to assume that all of the characters do keep up with at least a little bit of training off screen. So if these two characters both kept on training, I do believe Gabe would have still kept a little bit ahead of Daigo. So next character is Ken. Ken was actually really powerful during the anime. Like when I watched it again a few days ago, the whole anime, Ken was actually such a strong blader. Like in the first 20 episodes, he was going up against Xander, and although he wasn't winning, he was putting up as good of a fight as Volt was against Xander, and so he's really powerful. I believe, yeah, his second to last battle was against Ben, and he won. So I'm definitely gonna put him above Ben. But obviously he lost against Louis and Luminor. But to his credit, he still put up a relatively decent fight against Louis. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna put him definitely above Ben, because he did beat Ben. And he did stand up to Louis' Lost Spiral special move. So yeah, he's definitely B-tier Blader at the very least. Next up is Rantaro and Rockdevor. Now these guys are awkward because obviously I think Rantaro is supposed to be like the sort of like comedic character through Beyblade, at least the seasons that he's in. He's obviously meant to be like the all talk Blader, and then when someone beats him, like it's like, oh my god, he beat Rantaro, but it's not really that big. But to his credit, he was getting stronger, and it was stated by Shu that he did sort of know what he was doing, and he was getting a bit stronger. So in terms of skill, he did not have a lot of it, or power. He was definitely nowhere near as strong as Daigo. He was definitely the weakest character at the Beigama Academy Bay Club. I do believe that he might have overtaken Yuki or Yugo, whatever his name was, and Yugo, as even when this guy was introduced, Rantaro was still sort of fighting with him. So, and he did get stronger, whereas this guy, we didn't really see much of him after that. But I don't see him standing up to the Neptune guy, because he was giving Volt trouble, and Rantaro was obviously nowhere near Volt. So, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead next and go with, was it Orochi and Odax, or Odin. Now, these two were quite prominent, actually. He stood up to Shu in his battle in the first half of the season, and obviously gave him a massive run for his money. Shu did beat him, even while having an injured arm. And then after that point, he sort of fell off a bit. But I definitely think he was still stronger than Jin. I'm not so sure about Daigo. Yeah, I think Gabe beat both Daigo and Orochi, but Daigo nearly won, so he's definitely below Daigo. That's quite an easy one. Last guy is Hoji with Horosu. First half of the season, he nearly beat Wakia. If you remember, it was stated that if Wakia's Bay was just a little bit more forwards, he would have gotten the burst. But in terms of power and all of that, he was nowhere near Wakia at the end of the season. Even accounting for like off-screen training and all that, I don't see him standing up to Rantaro. I think honestly, I'd have to put him as the weakest, because he didn't really battle in the second half of the season, and even at the first half, he was very quickly overtaken by pretty much every member of the academy, even Rantaro. So yeah, let's take one final look at the rankings and see if we can swap some around. See, ranking the Bladers in Beyblade is so awkward because obviously, you know, it's not something like Naruto or Dragon Ball where there's like feats or things like that that you can really debate with. Like one episode, Volt was like, yeah, like one episode, Volt was just getting smacked by Xander and these two guys, and then the next episode, Ken was destroying these guys and then stacking up to Xander, and then the episode after that, Volt was fighting Xander. So it's really inconsistent with Beyblade. But I think I'm somewhat happy with this ranking. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I think especially with the C tier bladers, I think there's a big argument to be had there. With S tier, I'm going to move Volt second. Louis was definitely beaten by both of these guys. There was no way that he was beating Volt or Shu. He just got lucky. But out of Volt or Shu, if they had a hypothetical one-on-one, if they were both in the finals, if plot armor wasn't a thing, I do think Shu would have had it. But that's just me. That's just my personal opinion. Obviously, it would not be like a far-off match by any means. But yeah, I think that wraps up the video. Tell me what you guys think again. You know, comments if you change anything. Obviously, this is definitely, you know, my own opinion. And, like, even me looking at it now, I'm like, could Ken stack up to Akira? But at the end of the day, it's never going to be perfect. So, yeah, I am planning on making more tier list videos like this. I might do the dual layer bays next. But, yeah. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed this type of video, and I'll be definitely sure to post more videos like this. So thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.